he instead actually just took a coaching job at like a big high school in town.
Hmm.
But so he's like meeting with me. I'm sending film over to him, and he's yeah. The other day, so like growing up, I always felt like I was very fast. I remember, you're at the park with the other kids and just being able to outrun everyone. Nobody could catch me.
Hmm.
And then I like hit puberty, and it was like my body grew, and
Hmm.
um like my feet got huge. Like I have size 15 feet, which I don't know in European.
It's size
Um,
14. It's just one size higher.
okay. Yeah, size 15 feet, which so I have three brothers that are 6'9", and
Oh
they
my.
all have size, yeah, they all have 6'9", or they're 6'9", they all have size 15 feet. So I have their feet size. My hands are as big as theirs,
Yeah.
but I am 7 inches shorter. So like that screwed up my running. Like I didn't realize like because I wasn't able to run like I used to, and I never felt like I got that back. But then the other day, having this guy help me with my form, dude, I felt like I was just gliding, and it
Mm.
was amazing. I had some mild shin splints. They did not flare up at all, and I was going hard. It was like hard 40 meters, and they didn't flare up at all, and it felt like amazing. So and I think the athletic index definitely started that for me.
Mm.
Like I probably would have never learned about sprinting mechanics if I wouldn't have started sprinting again. So
Precisely, yeah. And sprinting and jumping are, like, I'd say the higher the velocity, the movement, the more technical they are. Like the more technical and the more technique has a driver and impact on it. Like it's not to say that like a squat technique isn't going to have a big impact on that, but
yep.
a very minor shift in like the movement pattern in a sprint can make your time tank by like tenth of a second. Whereas if it's a
Oh
very
yeah.
minor shift in a squat, it's not a massive deal because you can always just grind it out and stand it up.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's true up to a certain weight. Um
Oh yeah, if you're
I
doing
felt
like
like at
1 RMs, that's a different
yeah,
story.
yeah. I would I would say once like bar like I'm blanking on the term, but like once the bar starts bending and you get some bar whip, then suddenly those little movements can have a great impact. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
agree. And especially, being when I started this program, I was 247. I
Mhm.
was 234 this morning. So I dropped 13 pounds. Uh 9 of those in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm
Okay.
like getting really serious about cutting down because I'm like, if I'm gonna try to run as fast as I can and jump as high as I can,
Mm.
I don't need the extra fun part, in my gut.
What they
So
say, fat doesn't fly.
yeah, it doesn't, And also, I think I said this, I was like, Clydesdales are shredded,
Mm.
So I need to be as big as possible, as fast as possible, without being like, I don't want my belly flapping in the wind.
That
no,
would
I
be
was,
extra wind resistance as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the hair was, even though I kind of missed the hair, I'm not gonna lie. But
So, like, if I was to like time travel back to January, like, and get a snapshot of what your training was like and how athletic you were feeling in January versus like how you're feeling now, like beginning of April after the athletic index program, how would you say that transformation is? How would you say that process has been and the transformation in that time has been?
it's been I it was like a week ago, I just showed my wife my first Operation Natty Clydesdale video where I was sprinting in a gym,
Hmm.
and I was like embarrassed to watch it, to be honest with you. It was like, holy crap, that looked so bad. And
Yes.
I'm not saying that I, have like perfect running form, or I'm like the fastest person in the world, but
Hmm.
you can see a dramatic difference between something I posted a week ago to that first video.
Yeah.
And have you done that? I should send you the first video just so you can
I
see it.
can
It's
I can chuck it on this as a reel when I make it and do like a comparison if you want.
yeah, it's like significant. And I so one I there's obviously been like some like physiological changes.
Mm.
One of the first things I noticed is just sprinting and plyometrics. I didn't start immediately cutting weight. And so even when I was in the mid 240s, I felt like I was getting leaner from sprinting and jumping. And that's I think there's some evidence
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
like
There's I think there's a lot of research to suggest that like the hormonal stimulus after a sprint session and after like very high intensity plyometrics, because of just the sheer forces, like the limb velocities, ground contact forces, ground reaction forces. You're going to have like very, very potent stimulus afterwards, like a big spike in testosterone. Again, I'm not super 100% like on the research, but I know that it's very, very significant. Like, and the growth hormone as well. So like when you said before, you hadn't been sprinting and jumping, but you've been just doing weightlifting, you'd been getting like a little bit, it was becoming a little bit monotonous, even being a high level weightlifter. But adding the stimulus of the sprints and jumps will it's almost like adding the nitros on a car. It's like it supercharges your weightlifting.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hit a hang power clean PR. It tied my all-time best power clean at 360 pounds.
Was that high hang or low hang?
I think it was a high hang.
Damn.
Kind of like a throwers type of like bounce one.
Oh, they're so powerful. I love doing those. They're so good.
Yeah. But like usually, so like that was like that was a 10 pound PR. And that's only doing cleans. I think we were doing cleans once a week. So
yeah. On the program we have like a traditional clean like power session and then a clean pulls and upper body session.
Yeah. And so I was actually super surprised by that. I had very low expectations for what would happen to my Olympic lifts. Mm-hmm. But like even I think 2 weeks ago, I snatched like 295 pounds, which is like 135 kgs or something like that.
And your PR is like 143?
Yeah, 143. And so that actually is shocking too, because I would snatch 1 day a week. That's what I was doing. So like the difference between the athletic index and the Operation Natty Clydesdale was I think I did I modified a couple like 1 day of your training, and then I had another day. So there was like 3 solid days of your stuff, and then 1 hybrid, and then 1 of my own. Snatching 1 time a week, and I think a lot of it had to do with just literally like my ability to like produce power. I think of it kind of like this, where it's like if you're like one of the richest people in the world, you can't liquidate all your assets all the time. No. So if there's a reason why you need a bunch of money, you might not even be able to access that amount. And so it's like, as opposed to if you were some dude who had a ton of gold, or like literally just bags of cash, you could address, it's like kind of like that would be the analogy I would use. So I was like a guy, I had a lot of strength, I had a lot of potential power in the bank, but I didn't have I didn't have it like liquidated. And so I felt like this program helped me do that actually, which has been really fun.
Fantastic. I'm really pleased to hear that. And that's a fantastic analogy. I'll definitely be using something like that in the future because it's a great way to describe it. I think a big inspiration for how I created the program is like, especially with like the volumes on the strength work, was Daniel Back from Jump Science. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Daniel Back.
I should look him up.
Do you know who Daniel Back is? Like Jump Science guy?
How do you spell his last name?
Back, I think. Daniel Back.
Oh, it's Black.
Okay. Oh, Black. Oh, I've been saying it is Back this whole time. That's crazy. Yeah, Daniel Black from Jump Science. I remember.
Sure if I've ever.
You never heard of him?
Wait, no, I know who he is. Is he the?
He's also I know who he is. He's got another account called 2X Athlete as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, big inspiration for just like super low volume strength work, still high intensity, just to maintain like peak strength levels. For a lot of people, like again, you can think about people who want to get athletic in like different archetypes. You can think about the guy who is fast but not strong, or the guy who is strong but not fast. I would say, obviously, with your background, I would say you were you were fast and like bouncy in the past, but where you weren't focused on that as much,
strong.
you become really strong. But you need to then readapt the qualities like the elasticity, the plyometric training, so that you can then get fast again in the speed. So yeah, the whole idea of like doing super low volume strength work or just like minimum effective doses, you really don't need much just to maintain it throughout certain phases. Not for like the whole training year, but like 12 weeks, people would think like, oh, if I don't like do super heavy for 3-4 times a week squatting for 12 weeks, my squat's going to drop.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah. So before, I kind of busted up my knee like 2 weeks ago, and that was 100%. That had nothing to do with your program. What happened so I think you had programmed like you're supposed to test top speed, 10-meter fly. And so I did that, and I had a few good runs. So I'm like, well, I'm going to keep going. And so I think you had it like time restraint where it's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing like 30 minutes or something like something stupid like that. I did so many sprints. And then I followed it up with like, it's weird. I've been an athlete my whole life. I've never ran a 40-yard dash. And so I'm like, let's throw in some 40-yard dashes. And
off the 30 minutes.
It was dumb. Yeah. I hurt. And then the next day I maxed out my snatch deadlift and hit a PR, which is cool. But like, dude, my knee got so swollen, like internally. It did outside, it wasn't. And then so when I was talking to the guy who's like helping me with my sprinting form, I told him about that day. He's like, yeah, that was really stupid. He's like, he said you should have done 3, maybe 4 top speed, and then you should have been done. I think I did 2 or 3 times that.
It's a lesson you'll probably never have to learn again. Like just how intense sprinting is on the body. I can remember I used to do things. I used to sprint when I was first like getting into sprinting, and I didn't know a lot about like track and field training and like traditional sprint training. I was doing max velocity sprints 3 times a week, and I was like thinking I was going to get faster, and I just was not recovering from the sessions. I was even doing the time limits, but I was doing like 5 or 6 per session 3 times a week, and I was getting crazy shin splints. I was getting like my Achilles was starting to get like really, really, really sore, and I was just like, "What's happening? What's wrong?" And then I learned like just how intense sprinting is and like how potent it is. And you can just do 1 max velocity session a week and get great results. Yeah, I'd say that's optimal. Like even elite sprinters maybe will do twice a week, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of what this guy has me doing is like, well, it's kind of weather based right now because where I live, like it's going to be 70 degrees in like 4 days, but right now it's like snow and 29 degrees. So but it's kind of based on the days. And he just like said like less is more. And so he has me going through a warm up, which is actually very similar to the one you have me doing. Or you had us doing, which it's honestly such a great warm up. I've like kept a ton of pieces from that, and just will use it even for like Olympic lifting sessions now. Just like moving, it's like Olympic lifting is just it's a strength thing, but it's so much more than that. Like especially with snatching or cleaning, you're like trying to move under a weight so fast, and so just those like quick little plyometric things I think are very valuable. I still use them.
Yeah, I noticed you were doing them on some of your lifting days. You would do like the extensive plyos before a lifting day, which is really like to see that. Yeah, but
it's funny because I think in the past I would have assumed that would have taken away from my lifts, but it didn't actually. So
no, absolutely not. Like, but it's the devil is in the volume, not in necessarily like the intensity. You could do like a very quick like 10 minutes of high intensity box jumps. And then go into Olympic lifts. I would argue that might actually help you perform better than if you just warmed up with the Olympic.
I mean, my push press is a lift that got crazy good during this program, which wasn't something you had programmed, but I'd been doing like a lot of just regular strict press, and so I'm like, oh, push press would fit well on your Tuesday, or I think it was the Tuesday session.
Yeah.
And I think I increased my push press by 30 pounds during your program.
That's
So
insane. And like
yeah,
you weren't training it throughout the program, were you?
I was training it only on Tuesdays.
Okay, okay. So,
I would so I would do I do your like what you had. I do the clean pulls, the plyos, and then I would go into just push press. And I was a lot of the time it was super low volume. I would hit a couple of top singles, but then there was like one day where like 315 just flew up, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, I should keep testing it next week, and then next week, the following week, I think I hit 320, and I was like, that also flew up, and so part of me, I'm like, I'm not going to do 325. I'm going to do 330 because that's 150 kgs, and like it's like a nice meeting point between the two weight systems. And so,
yeah,
and I think a big
pounds,
part of that was
kilograms, taken hands.
yes. It's like the weightlifting brain. It's like or the lifter brain can understand like 150 is 330 very easily. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
But I think the plyometrics actually had a ton to do with that.
yes, yeah.
Speed in the dip and drive
Mm.
just dramatically increased. I felt like I could put so much power into just that initial drive. It was like night and day difference. So
Yeah, it's not often talked about. I was going to say this earlier, like the hybridization between different training disciplines, I think is all the rage now. Like I know that hybrid training in like the fitness space is more about like high rocks and CrossFit, but especially with like explosive training, like sprinting, jumping, and lifting all together, they all carry over into one another very, very well. And I talked about this in my like the 3 post series that I did, like the holy trifecta of athleticism. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. Like the dip and drive for a push press, the joint angles at the hips and the knees is almost identical to the angles that you'd get into like a depth jump or like a vertical jump, or maybe even like when you're transitioning between acceleration and top speed and sprinting. Like there's so much carryover between all of those that there's no way that if a weightlifter did this program who'd never done sprints and jumps before, or like had maybe done them in the past but like hadn't done them in a while, I would hazard a guess that they would see some pretty serious gains in like the weightlifting total as well, or at least in the hours.
Yeah, and if they just kept a minimal appropriate dosage, like on the clean day, just add a jerk after the clean,
Exactly.
like so you can maintain that, and then add one snatch day, like I did. And I mean, I think one thing that would benefit so many weightlifters, and I've been Olympic lifting for I think it's about 15 years now. I started when I was like 14. So, and I've had a lot of people ask me and like message me when they find out how long I've been doing it, and it's like, how have you been doing it so long? And I think the big thing is it's like I just don't do it year round all the time. It's not like it's not the end all be all. Like there was a period of time where I was coaching CrossFit, so I was training a lot of CrossFit, and then I would have like phases where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna Olympic lift more.
Yeah.
Or even there was a period of time, probably directly before COVID, where I was doing more of like I would do one cardio day, hard cardio day, and then I would do like a CrossFit day, then an Olympic lifting day, rest day, something like that. And just I've always kept just minimal dosage in, but it oftentimes will not be my primary form of training. I had a period of time where I was even just doing old time strongman lifts. But then I would just I would like keep a snatch day or like a clean and jerk day, and I would have some basic numbers that I'm like, okay, as long as I can hit these, I know I'm good.
Yeah.
And I think doing a program like this, especially in like an off season for an Olympic weightlifter, I think it could be a lot of fun. I think it could enhance their weightlifting, and also just like it's like just coming back to weightlifting, you'll appreciate it more,
That was kind of my vision for this program. Like, I know it's very difficult to market something to 3 different subgroups of a population. Like, I was really like, maybe not this program, but one in the future, I really want to market this to, like, I think the biggest selling point is going to be to weightlifters who haven't been doing a lot of sprints and jumps or plyometrics. I think that'd be the biggest one. But also to sprinters who want to learn to jump better and do more weightlifting, like more power cleans, and also to jumpers who want to learn to sprint better and who want to get better, like power cleans. Something like so it kind
that
of
would
like
be really
in all ways, but it's very complex to be able to market to 3 different subgroups.
oh yeah. You could almost create 3 different versions. You could have the weightlifting version. So like you have that extra day with snatching and maybe some more like squatting or pulling or whatever. And then like, and you could have like those 2 extra days, those 2 days that I changed or hybrided, made into a hybrid.
Yeah.
Those could be days that if you created like 3 different versions, like this is for a jumper, your Tuesday is this and this, but for a weightlifter, it's this and like a different thing that's more applicable to them. That'd be a very interesting. You could almost create like 3. It's like an RPG role playing game, you know.
Here's your like.
You get.
Here's your archetype, your character.
Path. Yeah, you got to choose the path, and it like you kind of create that sort of thing, and that would be kind of cool, honestly. Where it's like,
yes, like if you're a weightlifter and then you want to like increase your base speed stat and your base like elastic stat, try this program. If you're a sprinter and you want to increase your base strength stat, then so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah. Also, I would say this is a great program for like American football players. Like if I was an American football player, I would probably do this, especially if you're not like a lineman, but more like the skilled positions and you're just trying to get faster, stronger, and jump higher. Like this will definitely do it. I think even for like basketball players, this would be a great program. I think it's for like just general athletes in general. Like if you're like, I just need to get more athletic. I have the skill set for my sport. I'm not where I want to be athletically. This is a great program for that.
That's exactly my intention when I wanted to create it. Like I'm fully aware that athleticism is a skill, and it's expressed through skill in the sport. Like for example, the way you do a jump shot in basketball and like the footwork for that and the agility, those are all like expressions of athleticism. But I'm talking about like raw, just general outputs of how much can you do, how fast can you run, how high can you jump. All of those are the things that we're trying to increase in this program, which will then mean that ultimately your skills will then become that much better if you continue doing the minimum effective dose on those skills as well. So it's
people get scholarships and opportunities just for their athleticism. That's the reality. Right. And I dislike those people because I was the guy that spent a lot of time shooting hoops. And then you have some dude that's like 6'9", 40-inch vertical, can't hit the broadside of a barn, but he has just D1 coaches slobbering for him to come join.
It's where like the if you have like the physical traits and the athleticism to boot, and then on the skills on top of that, then it's like you're going to be like all-time great. But you can have just 2 of those and you'll still be good, and you'll like you have potential.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm always a big fan of like making it so that you can focus on the things that you can control. Like you can't have a sudden growth spurt and grow to 6'9", and you can control skill. But I think a lot of people think that athleticism is God-given and that, you have little control over it. And a lot of people have this perception that you can't get more athletic, especially as you age. But it's just false. You can definitely increase your outputs.
Actually, so like the theory that I work from as a counselor, as a therapist, is one of them is choice theory. And it's focusing on like what is your agency, like putting the power back into the hands of the individual. Like how can you change and create your environment? You have to accept that there's so many things you can't change. You can't change if you're 5'7", 5'9", but at the same time there are things you can change. A story from 8th grade. I met this guy. He played Division I football, transferred to a D2 school to play basketball. And he had just these crazy hops. Like he was 6'5", but he was like head to the rim, like high, And so he told me, he's like, yeah, I dunked. First time I dunked was in 8th grade. And I was like about to enter into 8th grade. And I was like, how did you do that? And he said, I did 1,000 calf raises a day. And I was like, that sounds impossible. And so at the time I grew up, I was homeschooled growing up, so I had a lot of time. I wasn't sitting in like a classroom. I was usually at a computer or at like the dinner table doing my work, so I could like just get up and bust out 100 calf raises. So I started doing that, and it was crazy because I ended up I think I might have ended up dunking a volleyball. At the time I was like 5'10". So like, but I went from barely being able to touch rim to being able to fully grab it in a span of a very short time. 1,000 calf raises a day is not sustainable. I think I did it 3 days in a row, and then I was like, I couldn't walk, so I took a few days off, and then I would do like 500 one day, take a day off, try to do 1,000 the other day, and I tried to do it like that. And I think I only did it for like a month, but in that time, I must have added inches to my vertical.
Yeah.
And
how old
that
were
wouldn't have happened. Huh?
How old were you at this point?
I was probably like 14.
Yeah, I mean, like once you're, I think, especially like at different developmental stages, in like different ages, like some things you can just do and it all, like you can sneeze in a weight room and it will make you jump higher if you're that age.
You can in some developmental stages you can do everything wrong with enough intent and heart, and you will still get an amazing product. I cannot do 1,000 calf raises a day anymore. I will regret my life so much. And I probably wouldn't even get the same results. I'd probably get rhabdo, and then I would have to pay medical bills and stuff like that.
That's the thing. Like you hear all these stories of people doing things like this, and they always downplay the part where it's like the asterisk at these things. Like you always hear the story of like, yeah, Shaq did 1,000 calf raises a day in college, and that helped him to jump higher. Or do you know Isaiah Rivera?
Yes.
World record highest.
I've been following him. I remember him when he was 14 or something like that, 15, and he just started. He was barely dunking on like a full-sized hoop.
Yeah.
He was doing most of his trick dunks. I just remember it and just thinking like, wow, this is really cool that he's just consistent. And I don't know how many years he's been doing it, but he was really young when I first saw him. And now he is the greatest or has the highest vertical recorded. Like he's got like belly button to the rim type of thing. Like totally different level.
It's insane how athletic he is as well. But yeah, I followed Isaiah a long time as well, and I remember him saying there was this period of time when I jumped every single day, like at school. And I was like, oh, maybe if I try that, me thinking in like, I think I tried this when I was like 22. I tried it for a month and I didn't really jump much higher. I just fucked up my knees. Basically, my knees got screwed up. But he did it when he was 14. Like, so when you're 14, 15, like there's a difference between what you can do and what you can tolerate versus when you're like fully developed, like a bit heavier and also like a bit stronger and you can jump decently well. It's people downplay the asterisk on a lot of those things.
Yes. Last spring, I don't know if you were following me at this time. This was when I had a smaller, I don't even know if I had 1,000 followers at this point, but I heard about like Clarence Kennedy and how he got to just blew up his squat, and he was just doing 5x5s 5 days a week at 80%. And so if you go back to my content a year ago, I was essentially doing an Operation Natty Clydesdale type of thing where I was like just showing my squats and doing voiceover. And but I added 35 pounds to my back squat in 4 weeks.
Wow.
I got incredible tendonitis from so it hurt really bad. And I did do that at 28, which I feel like is pretty good. But
it's like a high risk, high reward strategy.
Yeah. And sometimes that's good, like I feel like people don't really ever they're so afraid of hurting themselves that they don't actually find their limit. Yep. And for me, I just feel like that's kind of a sad way to live. I understand if you get really hurt that's obviously going to make you more cautious.
Yeah.
But I think so many times of those risks I've taken, like even sprinting now, like the statistic is like, oh, at 30 years old, you're more likely to just blow out your Achilles and, all these things. And if you're not sprinting regularly, if you're too heavy. So like in my mind, I'm like, oh, if I'm training sprinting like this, I am taking a risk. But at the same time, the potential reward for it, to me, just it outweighs it. And I have to accept those risks too. And I'm okay with it, like it's just, I can't control everything. I would rather hurt myself swinging, than
there's a
hurting
balance
myself
we had
sitting.
here. There's like those two archetypes. There's like, especially I think as ego lifting, there's like two archetypes of ego lifter. There's the guy that like pushes too heavy, too soon, too fast, and like he gets it because of that. I would say that's the second worst type of ego lifter. The worst type of ego lifter is because your ego is so like it has to be perfect. Like, oh, I have to really earn pushing up the weights. Like my form has to be perfect, and then you never actually push yourself. You need to be able to strike a balance perfectly between the two, so that you know when to push and when not to. And I think that's the challenge of training, and with not just necessarily with lifting, but with everything like sprinting, jumping, just general physical development, knowing when you can push the body and when you can't.
I think I'm blanking on his name. I haven't followed him for very long. His name's I think Austin Joachim or something like that.
Yes, yeah, I'm a big fan of Austin actually.
Yeah, he just posted a video of a PR clean attempt, and then he projectile vomited afterwards. And he was, and he kind of posted this is why you don't ego lift, guys. But honestly, I'm kind of that is why you ego lift.
You have to go too far sometimes.
Yeah, first off, the story alone, so there's going to be a day when all you have left are your memories, and you're going to be an old man that can't do anything. I would rather be an old man sitting in a chair, telling my grandkids about how I projectile vomited trying to clean 350, than being like, oh yeah, I could really clean 225 really well, perfect form. And I even have those guys. I had a guy who would for a while, he was regularly commenting on my stuff, and he was like, does it ever make you sad that your earlier, I posted a 9-year snatch compilation. He's like, does it ever make you sad that your earlier snatches looked better than your more recent ones? I'm like, no, I'm snatching 100 pounds more. Yeah, I'm snatching. I snatched 315 as opposed to 235. I don't care how I got it over my head. I did.
That's the epitome of the second type of ego lifter that I was just telling you about. I find Instagram comments very telling, because it's people projecting their own insecurities onto other people.
Oh yeah,
that dude definitely is never going to snatch above 315 in his life because because of that.
Yeah, it's you have to have some ugly ones in order to know when you really struck gold. And you have to hit those walls. Yeah,
this is the problem that people have with Squat University. It's you can never have any spine flexion in the bottom of your squat. Your squat can never look ugly. It has to be pristine textbook form all the time. It's are you ever going to go above RPA in a squat?
Yeah. And what's so sad about that is he's someone who I think has probably actually helped a lot of people.
Yeah.
But to some extent, his total message gets overshadowed by this fear mongering component, which even there's that one chick from the UK that I rag on occasionally.
Oh, the lady with she just hates on every type of training that I like to do.
Yes, unless you're doing powerlifting, then you're okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just if you can't jump at all, that's a problem. These different things reveal problems. Even maxing out and missing a max lift reveal problems. And if you're an optimist, they can give you a future path for training to really take yourself to the next level. But I don't know. It's just people just get so caught up in the failure, where it's oh, I missed 350, it's it's not the end of the world. It's a lift, have fun with it.
You didn't die. You can come back and stay and try.
Right. Exactly. My grandfather literally was on Normandy Beach. This is not that serious, this is not that serious. You're lifting weight above your head, ooh, you tweaked your back, wham,
yeah.
Chill out.
You have to have the right perspective, and yeah, I think the more that you can look at it from that perspective of like, I think mortality puts everything into perspective. Really, like a lot of the books I've been
Oh
reading
yeah.
at the moment talk about mortality a lot. If you can look at it from that perspective, then all of these little tiny trials and tribulations that you experience in everyday life that seem like they're such a slight against your ego, if you look at it from the perspective as you said, like an old man in a rocking chair or on your deathbed, it's like all you have are memories. So it's like, in that moment, did you want to be? How do you want to perceive yourself when you're looking back on it? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know what I would
And,
I know what I would want to be.
yeah. And what's so interesting is those memories you will have are going to be the ones that you actively are taking shots, like the big things you did. You're not going to remember the Instagram reels you scrolled through. Probably won't remember. You'll even forget a lot of people that you
Mm,
just spent like an unmeaningful time with. But you
mm.
will remember those big moments in your life. And so that's kind of how I train, to be honest with you. It's like I want to have these big moments as long as possible because I recognize that they're short. You know, it could be any time where I will never be able to sprint again, uh, jump again. So it's
Mhm.
like I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna have fun while I'm gonna do it. I might hurt myself. That's okay. I've came back. I've came back from injuries. You know, so
Yeah,
it's not the end of the world.
yeah. It's what is it? It's not wear and tear. It's wear and repair.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
repair,
Yeah.
your body has the innate ability to heal itself. So as long as you have that mindset going forwards, then the more stress, the better,
Yeah.
within reason. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
Anyway, man, I think like I think we've covered a bunch of stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff that's really helpful that I can use to like make a reel for the program. Um,
Sure.
I want to say thank you so much for doing the program and going through it and really giving it
Oh
your all.
yeah.
Definitely the most consistent person on it, who's really worked hard. A lot of the other guys who tried it, they weren't like super consistent with it, and naturally they wouldn't have gotten the same results. Just out of interest, do you know what your AI score was before and after the program to see if it's changed?
I remember. I remember looking it up when you first posted it and being like, "Oh wow, that's not good." You know, like after that first day, I was like, "Oh crap!" I've seen myself as an athlete my whole life,
Yeah.
and I think it was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. I'll probably remember it if I can
You
see
may
it."
have commented on the post when it came out, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Uh,
The thing,
yeah,
the only issue I had with the athletic index is it's not super accessible to people who don't know what a 10-meter fly is, or like they don't know
yes,
how to measure a max approach vertical jump. There's some people that
yeah,
know two of them, but they don't know the third one.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think when I first measured it, I was a solid intermediate, athletically speaking.
Okay.
And um, I mean, just knowing my athletic history, I have two siblings that have been professional athletes. I have a brother who played professional basketball, and then I have a sister she was a professional ballerina.
Hmm.
And so like that hurt my pride deeply, which is probably why I like was so committed to the program was I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna have that. Now I think I increased it by a solid point. I went from intermediate to a solid advanced,
What?
but I think I went from like 1.4 to like a 2.3. But um I I think I messaged you this, but I think in the next 6 weeks, I think I can get to a 2.6 or 2.5.
I think
That's
undoubtedly,
cool.
especially if your body weight starts to come down as well. Like your body weight will come
Yeah,
down, and naturally that will probably either keep your jump and sprint scores the same, or probably naturally increase them as well.
yeah.
Oh,
I wish I would have been measuring. I didn't time this last Monday, but
mm,
this last Monday when my sprint or Tuesday my sprint workout, I was very fast. Like if you know those days where you just feel it, and I
mm,
just felt like I was gliding, and I was like, oh, that I should have measured that.
mm.
So, but yeah, in the next 6 weeks, I think the goal is to get it to elite, and that's honestly what I'll need for to do what I want to do, at least to
Honestly,
get my foot in the door.
you have the strength level to get elite. It's really just going to be a matter of like properly programming sprints and jumps over the next like year for you. And
Yeah,
you definitely have the potential, man. Like just with the strength that you have, and also your athletic background as well, where you've had this is something I'm incredibly envious of Americans for, is just the environment you have as a child and the amount of sporting history and just sports you can be exposed to just by nature of being engrossed in that culture is so much more rich than any other country. You're so lucky. Like baseball, NFL, basketball, like all of the other sports that you can play. But yeah, with that background and then also your strength on top of that, it's just a matter of time of just being consistent with sprints and jumps before. You're on the team.
I think I was telling my wife that I think I need to, like, on this score, if I can get to 2.5 or like a 2.6, I think I'll have what it takes. So how it works with the USA bobsled is you do the combine and then you get invited to the rookie camp. If you do good enough in the rookie camp, you get a team invite. So I'm like, my goal right now is just like, I just want to be good enough to get an invite to the rookie camp. And it's going to be tough, but I think I can. I was talking to the guy sprinting, and the sprinting coach, and I was just like, how realistic is it for me to like go from never running a 40-yard dash before to like hit like a 4.7 something, like, and he seemed pretty hopeful. So I'm like, okay, that makes me hopeful, and so 4.7 isn't the fastest 40-yard dash, but at the same time, I think I can pitch myself, because there's an interview portion. I think I can pitch myself being like, hey, I've never trained this before.
It's a very good angle.
It this much.
It's a very, very good angle. It also shows like mindset and the upside as well.
Yeah. And then also the beauty is like, I don't have decades of sprinting. So I'm coachable. Tell me what to do. I will do it. I'll do it to the best of my God-given ability. So that's kind of how I'm going to approach it, but it'll be fun. It's fun. Just, like I said, it's just good to try things. I just don't know why. I don't understand why so many people just accept not trying to do things. It's just like, it's boring like that.
Really, the only way you can fail is giving up or just not trying. That's a big philosophy of mine. It's easier said than done, but like, I think, you're always going to, again, it's like another deathbed philosophy. It's like, are you going to really look back on all the things that you did and regret that you did, or are you going to look back on the things that you wish you tried? And I know what you'll regret more. You'll always regret the things that you never tried that you wish you had done.
Yes. The hardest clients to work with as a therapist are the ones that are unwilling to try.
Yeah,
I'm just like, why are we here? Why are you talking to me? Why are you paying me to sit here? Like, that's where mine is at. Like, do you really want to spend money on me trying to help you, but you're refusing to like actually try the things that we're working towards? Like, that's frustrating.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, man. I think we'll probably call the call there if that's okay with you.
Sure. Yeah.
I've just got to go have dinner. My girlfriend's been cooking, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really nice to connect with you, man.
For sure.
I don't know. I just really like being able to like see the actual person behind all of the Instagram, because what you see on Instagram is like you see what people want you to see almost. But like I prefer seeing a real person, like the actual conversation with the person. Yeah.
That's perfect. My family just came back home, but it's funny. I think it's so easy to see people on Instagram as like caricatures.
Yeah.
And when like what I post, it's just like whatever's in my head. I just think it's funny or something. So it is a part. It's a small piece, but I'm not like showing. Yeah. We're human beings.
I mean, like, I'm not saying that you're trying to hide anything or you're only trying to show a certain.
No.
I'm trying to.
I did not. Yeah.
I
think that's what you were saying.
I can only see so much, and it's just nice to have a real conversation with someone who's been doing a program that I've created. Like, it's just completely surreal to think about that.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a great program. Definitely. You want to say hi to Max? Hi.
Wait,
this is Max.
Your son's called Max, or I'm Max?
Mac. His full name is Maccabee. We call him Mac. So
Oh, that's so cool. Hi, Mac.
say hi. But
Mac's gonna be a great athlete one day.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he got a protein shake. That's what he's telling you.
Oh, what flavor is it?
Blueberry? What is it?
Blueberry.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
Stuff.
And you've got another child now. So is it two?
Yeah.
Two now?
2. Yeah, I have 2. So
That's wonderful.
I'm trying to get all that dad strength from the environment, you know, trying
Do
to
some more,
maximize every stat.
And as Mac grows up, the sled will get heavier. If you put him in the
Oh
ring,
yeah.
you can just pull him even.
Yes.
Yeah, even
Next winter sled pulls are going to be hefty.
stronger. Keep drinking those protein shakes, Mac.
Yes. Yes.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so much. I
Great
don't know what to call you
talking
now.
with you, man.
What do I call you? Beefcake or Jonathan?
Dude, well, I guess whatever. You can call me whatever. I don't really care, but yeah.
In my mind, you'll always
Oh.
be Beefcake, but now
Yeah.
Jonathan's also cool as well.
Yeah, it's the duality, right? The duality,
Duality
of
of
me.
man.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well,
It's been a pleasure
yeah,
to meet you,
and
man.
feel free. I'll definitely be shouting out your program for a while. When you share whatever you do, you share like
I'll
you
do
can
like
do
a
the
collab
collaboration.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Every
so much.
time. Yeah. And when do you think you'll do like the athletic index video or the score video?
What do you mean, like my personal one, or?
Were you going to do a video on my, or is this going to be a different video or same video on like my
So what
athletic index score?
I'm thinking of, I think maybe do it as 2 separate posts. This can be like marketing for the thing, and we can overlay it. Like I'll edit it in like InShot. I'll put a few videos over it, and then like
Sure.
do it with the caption,
Yeah.
with the words like blowing up. And then I think a separate post would be really cool. Would be like if you could create a reel of your athletic index score changing.
Oh yeah.
Over time.
That would be super cool.
And we could do a collaboration post on that. I'll do like the MKG Performance, the Athletic Index like official page, and then Beefcake, and it'll be like a nice collab post.
Yeah, that would be
really
great.
sweet.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank
All right,
you.
bro.
All right, man. You have a good
Take care.
one.
I appreciate it.
Enjoy the rest
you
of your
too.
day. See you later.
Yeah, bye.